Welcome in, everyone. It is Monday. Oh, why isn't that clicking? There we go. Check it out. Justin is doing a very cool trick on this Monday.
We're having a good time.
I do it again.
I love doing this. I love juggling.
When did you learn?
I kind of taught myself when I was younger, so it's just kind of a fun thing that I do sometimes when I get bored. You want to try?
I'm
You
gonna
ever
try.
juggled before?
We've attempted.
Okay,
Wait,
cool.
hold up. Which one do you do first?
Throw the where you have two in one hand, you have to throw it, and then before you catch it, you have to throw the other one. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Just gonna not do that. We'll stick to this
we'll
instead of juggling.
Set these back. We got a ton of them in a box over here. So. Just
Oh,
having
boy.
some fun. as
Oh
we get in
yeah.
today, yeah.
Especially on a Monday.
Yeah, for sure. Got
There
to.
you go.
Yeah.
We came off a very damp weekend. I'm sure a lot of
Yes.
people stayed inside their homes.
Yeah, I'm sure. And we had a couple of showers yesterday that came in the evening. It was a dry day until we got to about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then we saw a little bit of that mist. But today, even though we're staying cooler again for the 11th day in a row, below normal, we at least have been dry. And that's going to be a trend we follow the first half of this week. And we're even warming up headed into the middle of the week. So that's
All right.
the good news that we've got to bring to you in the first alert forecast here.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. I know we keep talking about how we're in the fall season. We had the 80s to start off October, but
Yes, right.
very change in pace.
Yeah, and that's good news because we're going back to temperatures that are at least close to normal. This is the time of year where we're used to seeing a lot of days in the 60s. They're kind of a pleasant transition right into the fall season.
Oh yeah.
Although we know Mother Nature can also very easily throw us a string of cool days. That's what we've had to deal with the last week and a half, and the next 2 days likely a little bit more of the same before Wednesday. But we are improving this week until we get to the late week showers that'll come
Right.
back. We know that eventually we settle back into that, and that's what we have before the weekend.
Okay, well, let's take a look outside right now because it's looking pretty cloudy out there.
Yeah, it is. We've been tough to break those apart, but, we expected today. The forecast called for mainly cloudy skies, and that's what we've got outside. Capital City Skycam showcasing that now. The numbers have risen to 51. We do have a north breeze as well, so dealing with a bit of that outside too. But when you're above 50 degrees, you really don't factor in much of a wind chill out there. Now, if these numbers were cooler in the 40s, we would likely be knocking it back a degree or two as far as how it feels outside, and certainly the wind still doesn't feel nice, even if it doesn't affect the feels like condition officially. So the numbers are in the low 50s out there today. We only get maybe another degree or two out of this. That's because it's a north-northwest wind continuing to drive in 5 to 15 miles per hour. The gusts are up towards 15. The steady winds are usually less than 10 in most spots. So a pretty quiet day by recent past standards here. We are staying dry once again. The numbers hour by hour get into the low 50s. A few folks who are lucky and maybe get a few hints of sun late this afternoon might get into the mid 50s, but a lot of us I think top out around 53 degrees for the forecast high. The good news is again is that we are staying dry out there today, and a look at that shows on our satellite and radar that while the clouds continue to blanket us, any of those light areas of drizzle are staying towards the lakeshore. And once again, you look off towards Port Huron, near Lake St. Clair, Metro Detroit, and even off into Lake Erie. Those are lake effect showers, but of course they're staying rain this time of year when we still got the numbers warm enough to keep them from becoming some of the white fluffy stuff, which we know eventually will settle back in, but we're not dealing with that yet. However, if you're over towards Port Huron today, or any family friends who are over that way, they may be dealing with a little bit of that drizzle right near the lake shore's edge. Now, that's also true as you look off towards the east, towards Lakes Erie and Ontario, more of the same. A lot of that off towards the far northeast is a system off that direction, but a lot of that coming off the lakes is lake effect precipitation. Now, we're staying dry here. And that's good news. Once again, that'll be the pattern we follow getting into most of this week. And so the hour-by-hour look here is going to bring us back into the low 50s again. We're holding that today with the clouds. But overnight, we're going to decrease the clouds. And I kind of mentioned that the lake effect sort of plays an effect this time of year when the lakes are warmer than the air, and this cool air that's been filtering in, it's going to cool the middle of the state down. So you see this little hole open up right over mid-Michigan. We may drop into the mid-30s overnight, but you notice places like Howell, Ann Arbor, they stay in the 40s because they've got clouds kind of acting as a blanket, retaining some of that warmth. It'll be the same case off towards West Michigan tonight, but right here in the middle of the state, we get into the coldest air. And so that's kind of what we're seeing tonight. So by tomorrow morning, we might have a little bit of patchy frost in a few spots. I do think anything that is there burns off pretty fast. We get back into the mid-50s, and you see a few peaks of sun tomorrow afternoon. We got 55 at 5 p.m. I've got us topping out between the hours around 56, and the numbers are only going to improve upon that heading into Wednesday, which is good news. And so we'll look at the 10-day forecast to show you that here. That's probably, like we said last week, probably the pick day of the week coming in on Wednesday. 61, and be the first time we made it back to the 60s in Lansing in a while. And we've been below average that whole time. Now, the normal highs, which we'll look at in a moment, I'll show the 10-day trend, are right around 60 degrees now this time of year. And by the end of this 10-day, they'll be in the mid-50s. And so we're still losing, as far as the average goes, every 2-3 days another degree off of our average high temperature. And so you take about 10 days out, you're losing about 3-4 degrees as far as average goes. We are going to bring some showers in late week. So Wednesday's the day to really enjoy. And then Thursday, Friday, we're likely under clouds and a few more rain showers, even if the numbers are still kind of close to 60 Thursday and mid-50s Friday. The weekend, like this past weekend, probably a little bit cool, low 50s highs. We do have that big Michigan State-Michigan football game. And although the two teams have been on a little bit of different trajectories this year as far as the records, the standings, and a whole lot of other stuff going on, let's be honest, that game normally tends to be a pretty close rivalry matchup. You never know what to expect. This seems like one of those years, thinking about it, that Michigan would maybe blow their doors off. But,
I think they've got the upper hand for sure.
But, the game is in East Lansing. It's at 7:30 p.m., and Spartan Stadium will likely be rocking. That game kicks off on News 10 right here, WILX TV. And so you can watch it right here on our airwaves, and we'll have that on Saturday night. So, of course, we hope to see you then, and for our newscasts that take place that evening as well. And kind of like we mentioned, the middle of this week, the temperatures come up a bit. They do the same thing by the middle of the next week. Even though the weekend's a bit cooler, it does look like it'll be dry. If we get any rain right now, it looks like it would be Saturday morning. The game, again, not till 7:30 Saturday evening, and so that would bode well for us as far as that goes, and the temperatures, again, coming back up to near 60 by the middle of next week. So if we jump to the trend, again, the average high is 60. A little bit of that up and down pattern, but this is common, especially in October. This pattern was pretty flat recently, where we just had a string of a lot of 50s.
Yeah.
And so at least having the little kind of highs here get back to the 60s, even if it's low 60s.
A bit more warm.
It's nice. And for this time of year, anytime you get to 60 degrees from here on out, that's a pretty good day, unless, of course, you got a massive storm or anything like that going on. But as long as it stays relatively dry, getting to 60 degrees from mid-October onward is considered a good day in this area of the state, especially this part of the country. And so we'll take any of those Wednesday, even Thursday if the rain isn't an all-day affair. We'll take that, and then middle of next week, hopefully we can stave off the showers, maybe get into the low 60s again. But in the meantime, it's going to be all about getting back into at least near normal temperatures, which are near 60 by the middle of this week. And we're dry, so
that'll feel nice.
yeah, we'll have a couple of days to get that out. If folks have their Wednesday, Thursday garbage days, whatever coming up, or they have collections, we know those will go through October and into November. Whether you got yard clippings, you trim any bushes or tree branches, anything like that, good few days here to knock that out, because we won't have the threat of rain taking place, and we certainly saw plenty of that over the past couple of days, and so I'm certain those lawns starting to maybe lengthen out a bit again for some people. Of course, we also got leaves that are really beginning to fall at a better clip now too, with these cooler temps, and so color's going to start popping once again, like we talked about last week. And any of that yard work you need to get done before the mid or late week pickups that you might have, myself included, that's something that you can do.
Yeah, no, great weather, and let's go back to that real quick. So great little weather there.
Yeah.
For the next couple of days to get things done. Yeah, watch out when you get towards the end of the week. And if you are going to the Michigan State game, I'm sure you do not want to be doing any chores for this weekend. You want to be at the game, preparing for that, and
tailgating,
all the chaos going down.
Yeah, doing whatever, enjoying. Again, 50s if it's dry, not terrible. But, when you got that northwest wind, it can bite a little bit, especially in the early and very late parts of the day when you're away from the peak heating. But, of course, it's Michigan. It's October. We know what to expect. Unfortunately, we've been dealing with a little prolonged stretch here of 50s. We would have loved to have a few more 60-degree days in here, I think, in the last 10 or so days. But, we take what we get. Mother Nature tends to be a taker instead of a giver this time of year, and so that's kind of what we've been dealing with. She's going to give us a nice day, though, for the middle of the week, too.
So, Justin, looking at today, 53 cloudy, and then if we look at Saturday, I know you have that 20% chance of rain, but also 51, so 2 degrees colder than what it is today as the high, and then you're looking at also cloudy. So if we take a live look outside at Michigan State University, will it look similar to like this Saturday's game? Will the weather look similar to what it is right now?
Yeah, I think so. In fact, I think how it looks right now is probably pretty close to how it looks around kickoff. We're
All right.
going to have some clouds hanging around. Of course, by then, being a 7:30 night game in October when the sun sets before 7 p.m., now it'll be darker than it is out right now.
Yes.
But as far as the sky conditions, I think that's what we see. We see mainly cloudy sky. Of course, the sun will be gone by kickoff. But I think even leading up to kickoff, there will only be a few glimpses at the sun on Saturday. It'll be mainly cloudy out there. And how the temperatures are outside right now, which is about 51 currently at this hour in the afternoon, is about what the high will feel like Saturday. So by the time 7:30 rolls around, we're probably back into the 40s again. And so folks who are attending the game or going to be out and around the East Lansing area or anywhere in mid-Michigan for that matter, wherever you happen to be going, plan on the numbers being in the 40s at
Bundle
kickoff.
up.
Yes, already. And so the layers will be your friend. Overnight lows late that night, well after midnight, likely dip back into the 30s again. And so it's just one of those classic patterns. Once again, we know what to expect, but still good to know what's going on and to bundle up. And, of course, folks have a lot of different ways that they can do that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I always think of hot chocolate and hand warmers. Those
Yeah.
are my two go-to to stay warm. A heated vest if you
Yeah.
have one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Those are good to do, and we're getting into that time of year as well, and especially eventually heading into this holiday season upcoming, we'll have cooler days.
Fast.
Yeah, we'll have cooler days to expect, and so I think that's what makes it harder for some folks is when you have the gray, cloudy days. We know we're going to get a ton of them between November and March, and even into April. So when we start with it, even in early October, like we have here, after the nice string of 80s we got, going right into that kind of gloomy 50s weather without getting a little transition period, it's been rough on some folks.
We're going to miss the sun. We
Yeah.
like the sun.
Of course, yeah.
All right. Well, if you want to stay up to date with any of the cool temperatures, with any of the sun that you want to try to get before more clouds come in, and especially with the rain, Justin, there is a great tool to get.
Yeah, we always tout it on here because it's true. The WILX First Alert weather app here from News 10. Now, this is not your ordinary weather app. This has frequent, constant daily updates, not only via video, but get your daily forecast, but also if there are special events. We've got videos posted to the page about that. And we've also got, of course, your hour-by-hour temperatures, future, past, and current radar, and video forecasts. It's all in the palm of your hand when you download the WILX First Alert Weather app, and you just got to search WILX Weather. Comes up with our logo and everything. As simple as possible for you. If you don't have it already, you should get it. It's absolutely free. And again, everything you need to know about mid-Michigan weather here, and then also if you plan on traveling around the state, around the region, around the country, sometimes even out of the country,
There you go.
it can still provide you with an updated First Alert forecast that you can get right in the palm of your hand or in your pocket. Great tool to have.
All right. Yes, great tool to have. I was using it this morning. I tell you, I use it every day because I do. I was going to try to find a long sleeve today, but I was struggling to find an outfit. So we went with this.
There you
Whatever.
go.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's good.
We got the heater on. We're
Yeah,
good.
No doubt. Yeah, got to.
Got to. All right. Well, this week, Studio 10 is very busy. So I'm going to do a little preview for them up here. But here are their socials to stay connected. So today on Studio 10, hopefully if I pull this up, it doesn't cover. All right, good. All right, you can still see the socials. All week long on Studio 10, they will have Make an Impact with Thomas Express, talking about Champion of the Heart. That is a foundation, a nonprofit foundation with Michigan State University assistant coach, former assistant coach, my apologies, Mike Garland. So him and his wife started Champions of the Heart, that nonprofit foundation, after he went into cardiac arrest and his heart stopped for 18 minutes. So without Good Samaritans and people who knew how to do CPR and have the AED training, he would not be here. So all week long on Studio 10, even here on News 10, we will have our Make an Impact, which is this Thursday. We will have a phone bank. You can call in, give your donations, and really help them with that CPR and AED training. In fact, they have a training going on right now. It started at 2 o'clock. I believe the other one was at 10 this morning. But yeah, it goes on for the next 45 minutes. You can see Coach Garland and a few other volunteers as well. So you can head over to the Breslin Center in East Lansing. If you're watching this right now, you can head on over. And Chris Schultz, I see that you're saying hello from East Lansing. If you want that CPR AED training, you now know where to go. Also coming up on Studio 10, they take you to the Fireworks Glass Studios because, hey, we're in the fall season. And they're going to review fall collections with some fun decorations. And then this week, also on Studio 10, they will have Teacher of the Week. So that is what you can look forward to. And of course, if you can't catch Studio 10 coming up at 3 o'clock today in just over 40 minutes, you can always go to their YouTube page, to recap anything. If you want to send anyone a good clip that you saw, or again, if you missed it or you just want to rewatch it, go to @WILX Studio 10 on YouTube for more. And of course, what were we going to say?
No, that's good.
Yeah.
You can get all that info there, and I'm going to be helping co-host Studio 10 today,
Yes,
and
you
so
will.
rare air there that I get to shed. Well, I'll still be doing the forecast, but that I get to kind of shed that for the co-hosting duties. And so Claudia and I will be holding down the fort. Also talking a little bit about Mid-Michigan's favorite professional football team. We're going to be discussing the Detroit Lions a bit as well. So excited, looking forward to that.
Let's go.
I know,
Woo!
they're doing great. We got a lot to say. I got a lot to say personally. I know
I'm
Claudia
sure you
does too. So hopefully you'll join us for that. Should be a fun time.
We're ready for it. All right. Well, thank you, Justin. We have much more coming up during First F4 and our 90 minutes of news, starting with Mid-Michigan Matters. So hunting season is underway. We're bringing in a conservation officer from the Michigan DNR to talk about new regulations for the 2023 season, as well as common violations that you want to avoid, right? You don't want to get in trouble while you're trying to go about your hunting duties over there. So tune into First F4 today, Mid-Michigan Matters, and hear what you need to know to stay safe and to avoid any penalties. Coming up on News 10 at 5, like Justin and I were just talking about, big rivalry in East Lansing happening this Saturday, like Justin said, 7:30 kickoff game. Right here on News 10 is where you can watch. And so Tim Stout is going to preview this Saturday's rivalry game between Michigan and Michigan State. And that's, just tune in for more. It's going to be an interesting matchup for sure.
And he's got a lot to say about that game as well. So you need all your football talk. We got it covered here at News 10.
Oh, yes, you and Tim both. Coming up on News 10 at 5:30, Attorney General Dana Nessel was in East Lansing for a seminar on senior abuse, sharing how to spot the telltale signs of scams through phone calls, texts, emails, and even traditional mail. So if you have a senior in your life, you won't want to miss this story. Again, avoid those scams. You don't want to be tricked into anything that could hurt you later down the line. Coming up on News 10 at 6, Amaya Kuznicki shares how Bath Township Police are using a new CPR machine to help them save lives. And hey, they've been getting good reviews. It's had great success so far. So you can hear more about that coming up on News 10 at 6. We do have our reporters out in the field, so we're going to send it out to them.
The Israel-Hamas conflict continues. With both sides denying ceasefire agreements, the death toll is still growing. Now, there's an increase in threats being reported, and local communities are ramping up their security. Hear more on the story tonight on News 10 at 5:30. For now, let's hear from ours.
Thanks, Tanaya. Safety seems to be a big concern in Michigan following 2 young children escaping their homes. I talked with experts about prevention. We'll have more on that in our 90 minutes of news. I'm going to pass it over to Deanna.
Thanks, Mars. Encouraging children to stay active. That's the goal of the newly returned Fitness Finders Mileage Club. I spoke with a PE teacher and a parent who say this program is important for children. I'm Deanna Giles, and I'll have that story on News 10 at 6. Aaron?
Thanks, Deanna. I'm Erin Bowling, and today I'm at the Breslin Center on Michigan State University's campus, where the local foundation Champions of the Heart taught a whole bunch of people how to complete CPR and use an AED. I'll have why they're doing this and how you can become a champion of the heart on News 10 at 6. Taylor, back to you at the desk.
All right, thank you to Naya, Mars, Deanna, and Aaron for sharing what you have coming up during our 90 minutes of news. And of course, you've seen this guy here before on the News 10 Plus desk. Justin Kent, welcome aboard. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, doing really good. We have stories today, more UAW stuff. That it's such a big talker and it's such a big story, and it's impacting a lot of things as far as the economy, their jobs, everything like that. Bill Ford, the executive chair for the Ford Motor Company, he actually came out today and talked a little bit about it, made some statements talking about the offers that they have made, the fact that they still want to work with the union, that they don't see them as an enemy. It's kind of a little bit of an uplifting message that he had, so it's pretty good.
All right, anything else you want to add to that?
No, when we're going to do the story for you guys at 5 o'clock, it's going to be pretty good, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that future impact on the economy might look like. So
I know, these strikes keep going, and we're continuing to follow here on News 10. I know you've been on the story multiple times, and a lot of our other reporters too, continuing to provide all of those updates.
Absolutely, it's something that we just have to take week by week, and just kind of see what that next step is going to be. So,
well, thank you, Justin. News 10
bet.
at 5.
News at 5, yes.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, you got
Looking
it.
forward to it. All right, thank you.
Yep.
One more time, I'm going to play the Make an Impact that we have coming up. Oh, and maybe I should wait just a second to play this because it looks like we're talking. But again, this Thursday and all week long here on News 10, talking about Make an Impact, helping out Champions of the Heart, the nonprofit foundation. And today is Restart the Heart Day. So this Thursday here on News 10, we have our Make an Impact campaign with the phone banks. You can help make those donations, help get the AED, and even CPR training to continue to help Coach Mike Garland and others get that life-saving measure that they need when they go to a cardiac emergency. So I'm going to play this video real quick on Make an Impact and what you can expect.
Hey Mike, it's been over 40 years you and I have been together, but you have now taken on a foundation that maybe is your best accomplishment ever. Tell me a little bit about it.
Absolutely, Tom. And first of all, me and Cynthia really appreciate your support in what we're trying to do to save more lives by getting more hands on hearts. And it's so important that we get the word out that lives can be saved if we have enough hands to get on hearts to get those victims through that 4-minute timely segment that they have to have someone there to actually start their heart up again like I had those two guys.
Well, you're a walking miracle if you ask me, and I'm so thankful for the men that saved you, but I'm really thankful now that, like you've done my entire life with you, you're trying to make sure other people get help like you get help. And I'm just proud of you. I'm proud of Cynthia. A lot of people hide behind that. You've stepped forward, you've told your story, and now you want results on how we can make this world a better place.
Well, Tom, what I'm doing, I'm following your lead, and it's been all about people ever since I've been here coaching with you. And you know what? That's what we're doing with this foundation.
Well, I got a feeling there's another national championship right around the corner, and it's the championship of the Heart Foundation that you started.
Very impactful stuff right there. Again, Make an Impact. Our campaign is this Thursday here on News 10. And if you go to championsoftheheart.net, you can learn much more about their mission. And even Ann Emmerich did a story on Mike Garland a year ago when he went into cardiac arrest, talking about the two Good Samaritans who were right there for him, providing CPR training and helped bring him back to life. So, as well as the first responders, I want to bring that to the bring attention to them as well, because without their help, Mike Garland would not be here. So, very impactful story. You can go on and to championsoftheheart.net. You can rewatch Ann Emmerich's story. Really impactful. Gives you some chills of what he went through, but it really speaks on the volume, on the importance of CPR and AED training. So, we hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later on News 10.